Could a big trade be coming for the New York Knicks? We're going to break that down on today's show. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are almost at our next milestone of 80,000 subscribers. And I want to beat my other channel, Giants Now by Chat Sports, to 80,000 subscribers. So if you love the Knicks and you want to rep for Knicks Now by Chat Sports, hit that sub button. And if you love the Giants and you want more Marsh and more Giants content, give me a subscription over there. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Let's dive into it. Yesterday on the channel, we broke down the report from James L. Edwards III of The Athletic, saying that the Knicks are closely monitoring Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks situation. Leon Rose has been watching Giannis and maybe even thinking about trading him for a while now. But there was a piece of that quote that I don't feel like I did a good enough job of talking about and analyzing. And here it was. Many around the league believe the Knicks are interested in star hunting. And while that opportunity hasn't popped up yet, I certainly believe it's in the cards if the right situation presents itself. And look, the headline yesterday, 1,000%, was that the Knicks have been monitoring and are interested in trading for Giannis. But it doesn't seem like Giannis is the only fish that they are interested in catching. Many around the league believe the Knicks are interested in star hunting. And Edwards said it. If the right opportunity and chance presents itself, they would capitalize. Leon Rose is always lurking. He is always going to put himself in a spot where if the right deal, right move, right signing, right whatever comes across his desk, he wants to be in the best position to be able to execute that trade. And the Knicks are always open for business. This is a Chick-fil-A. They don't close on Sundays. Phones are always open. You can always call them. Leon is willing to talk. Will that opportunity present itself? I don't know. Who are the players that they would consider star hunting for? I don't know. I've got 5 names that I think that could potentially be players of interest for the New York Knicks. And let's start with the one we spent the last 2 days talking about, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't want to spend too much time on Giannis because we've put out 2 videos this week already on him. If you want all of my takes on that, go check it out. Check it out. Shout out to DJU. But go, honestly, take a peek. We know Giannis makes $54.1 million, and if the Knicks are going to execute a trade, they have to get to essentially $54.1 million in outgoing salary. At this moment, Mikal Bridges cannot be traded. He signed that extension, which means he cannot be dealt for 6 months. 6 months from now, though, is still before the NBA trade deadline. So if the Bucks are just that stuck in their ways on wanting Bridges, they can get the deal done. I think if a Giannis trade were to happen before the deadline this year, it would probably be OG Anunoby going out. He makes $39.5 million. They still got to get to about $15 more million. I think OG, Mitchell Robinson, and Miles McBride could be the outgoing salary with a couple of picks, pick swaps, and things of that sort involved as well. Maybe it's Karl Anthony Towns. And maybe the star hunting involves Karl Anthony Towns going out because he does make $53.1 million. I don't even know outside of Giannis who it would be that the Knicks could look to target. But if it is Giannis, they're going to need him to force his way out. And not only force his way out of Milwaukee, force his way to the New York Knicks. The Knicks can make a competitive offer, but they cannot make the best offer of all 29 other teams in the NBA. They're going to need some help from Giannis. They're going to need him to say, I want to be a New York Knick, and I no longer want to be a Milwaukee Buck. So that's where we're at on Giannis. Let's move on to the next trade target here, as we've spent a lot of time on Giannis last couple of days. Another name to monitor, in my opinion, is LeBron James. That story has not gone away. That idea continues to float around the NBA circles, and I think there's a world where he potentially wants to be a Knick before he retires. He loves playing in Madison Square Garden. There have been NBA insiders and content creators and analysts that believe that LeBron wants to be a Knick. I'm not going to believe it because I fell for this trap in the summer of 2010. I fell for it again when he went back to Cleveland, and I fell for it again when he went to the Los Angeles Lakers. I will believe LeBron wants to be a Knick when he wears the orange and blue. He makes $52.6 million, so maybe a Karl Anthony Towns trade, maybe it's OG Anunoby or a similar package. LeBron may be 40, but he's still one of the best basketball players in the NBA. I do worry that if the Knicks were to give up OG Anunoby for him, the defense would drastically suffer, especially if you're giving away OG and Mitchell Robinson. I think from the Lakers' standpoint, you might entertain that. Because if you could put OG Anunoby next to Luka Doncic with Mitchell Robinson, that's a perfect center combination and wing player next to Luka Doncic. Also, are we sure LeBron is playing for the Lakers this year? Are we sure he wants to be a Laker? At the introductory press conference for DeAndre Ayton, he said, I haven't talked to LeBron yet, but I did get a text from Luka. And then when Luka had his celebration and press conference of him signing an extension, LeBron wasn't there. And neither was Bronny James. So clearly there's some beef going on between the Lakers and the LeBron James camp. LeBron will never be better than Michael, ever, unless he wins a championship with the New York Knicks. If he were to do that and have won a champ with the Knicks, the Lakers, the Heat, and the Cavs, I think that you could make the argument that he is the greatest of all time. But I dare you, just like Alan Hahn said, I dare you to say you want to be a Knick, LeBron James. I'm always going to talk about Zion Williamson when we talk about blockbuster trade targets for the New York Knicks. They wanted him on draft night. I think that there's a couple people that are employed by the New York Knicks that would have been willing to sell their soul for Zion. And when they should have won that NBA draft lottery. Zion, on paper, would be a hell of a fit on this basketball team. Him at the 4, next to Karl Anthony Towns at the 5, would be awesome. But that's really all Giannis. Zion is at this point, an on-paper player, because he does not play basketball. He's played in 100 games over the last 2 years, 129 over the last 4 years. He missed the entire 2021-2022 season. I do believe if healthy, he can be an impact player that helps you win a lot of basketball games and could be a primetime playoff player. But we're not living in the world of ifs and maybes and shouldas and couldas and wouldas. It's reality. And the reality is he has failed to prove that he could stay healthy. They've always been linked to Zion. They will continue to be linked to Zion. I just want to see the guy healthy. I want to see him be able to play basketball. We've been robbed of the Zion Williams experience. It sucks as basketball fans. It's just someone that loves this game. I want to see it, even if it is in New Orleans. I'm not going to stop talking about him, though, as a trade target, because I know the Knicks do love him as a player. I think another guy that maybe gets some more buzz as this season starts to go on is Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat. And I think that is because the Miami Heat are closer to potentially blowing it up than a lot of people believe. All disrespect in the world to producer Rolly and his Miami Heat. A Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero 1-2 punch, that's going to get you in the play-in every year. And that's about it. And that's where they've been for the last couple of years. And Pat Riley I know he's getting old, and Father Time is knocking on his door, but he's a smart guy. He's a forward-thinking guy. And I don't necessarily think the Heat would ever tank, but there might be a time where they need to look in the mirror and say, we're never going to win at a high level in the Bam Adebayo experience. And I would love to see him on the Knicks. He is a really good player. He's a little bit limited on the offensive end, but what he would bring to the New York Knicks is one of the best defenses in the NBA. If you could somehow keep a Mikal Bridges or a OG Anunoby alongside of Karl Anthony Towns, because a Bam and Karl Anthony Towns front court would be elite. It would be a perfect marriage. You put Cat at the 4, Bam at the 5. Doesn't really matter which way you want to call it. Those two guys would be awesome together in the front court. So just a name to keep your eye on. I'm not saying I've heard anything. Just something that we know how stars work. When you lose a lot, they want to be traded. And the Miami Heat, I don't think they're going to be winning a lot of games here. I'm sorry. Andrew Wiggins, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero. That's not moving the needle. What about a wild card? Trey Murphy. I have been a Trey Murphy stan for quite a while. Prior to this season, I listed him as my breakout candidate in the NBA season. You can go check out those videos, and there he was, up to a scoring total of 21.2 points per game. He's a true wing, and I think he has superstar potential. There's not many people at 6'8" that have limitless range, the ball handling skills that he does, and he can get downhill and he can throw it down. Like, he's an elite athlete, he's a great shooter, and he's only getting better and better. He's a complete player, and I think he's next up in this league when you talk about elite wings. Like, I don't know what the Pelicans have going on. And maybe you could take advantage of a questionable New Orleans Pelicans front office that has made some questionable moves. It's not David Griffin there anymore. It's not the front office that it once was. Didn't win a lot of games with him either, but, the draft day trades and everything they've done are a little bit questionable. I don't necessarily think that Trey Murphy is on the block or available, but I'm not going to be shocked if a trade happens. I'm never going to be shocked by anything in the NBA anymore. The Dallas Mavericks traded Luka Doncic. So, yeah, I think it's a possibility. The Knicks would have to give up a lot, no doubt. He's a great player. But if there are star players that are available, I think the Knicks would call, just like James L. Edwards reported. And I think it's widely reported around the league and known. Many believe the Knicks are star hunting. They see the right opportunity. You're not going to have to go star hunting for a point guard. You already got one of those on your team. Jalen Brunson, show him some love. Get his jersey before we get the preseason started. October 2nd, the first preseason game for the New York Knicks. It'll be here before you know it. Chatsports.com/Brunson sale. That link is clickable in the comments and description. So we got through 5 players on today's show. I'll just open up the comment section for all the real ones before we bounce on out of here. If you had to pick one of these players to trade for, don't just choose the best player. Factor in the price that you'd have to pay and give me an answer. Which one of these stars do you want? Type the initials of them down in the comments. Make sure you are following me on Twitter. I'm on Instagram as well, @MarshallGreen_.